back in town on a red baby, don't make me wait. Body like been a long while, and I just wanna taste this be alone. I put it down when I come around.
All right, hi you guys, welcome back to Talkin Smack. Today I'm super excited to have Dakotah with us.
Hello.
We have actually not met in person.
No, this is the first time
I
that
feel like we've talked
met.
a couple times on Instagram, and I've followed you and seen all the things that you.
I tapped into your energy just like via the Instagram, and I feel like we're friends.
It's
I wasn't nervous about that, just the cameras. Yeah,
I know it's kind of an intimidating setup.
Yeah,
I remember the first couple times I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm kind of like, do I have stage fright?
I think I do have a little bit of stage fright. Everyone's always like, you're so good on Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm alone. I'm alone when I'm recording myself, and I've recorded it like 12 times, and you can just delete. Podcast is like unedited, so we'll see how this goes.
I know.
Today.
Oh, don't you worry, they can edit some things.
Oh,
out.
nice. Okay, so if I fuck up, I also have such a potty mouth. That was another thing I was worried about.
Totally fine. This
just
is
beep it out.
It's called Talkin Smack for a reason.
Nice. I dig it. Okay.
No, I'll have some guests on, and they'll be like, does this have to be PG?
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely not.
I don't have any
good.
of that. I don't have any parental guidance going on in my language.
Yeah, children don't watch this one.
Yeah. Fuck is just a part of my vocabulary. I grew up in the South.
Well, didn't they say like more intelligent people use the F word more often?
I've never heard that, but agree. I've
Yeah.
heard that really smart people think they're really dumb, and really dumb people think they're really smart.
That's also probably
Facts.
true. Can relate.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm super excited to have you on. I have like a million questions.
Oh, good.
To ask
I'm ready.
you.
Yeah, I actually loved the ones that you sent me. I'm down to talk about anything. There was a couple of them I was nervous to answer, like client horror stories.
If you don't have any, we don't have to.
Oh, no, I have them. But sometimes when you really get into like the issues that you have with your clients, I'm like, do I really want to just throw her shit out there like that? Like which one should I pick? But I decided if I'm going to tell any client horror stories, I'm just going to tell men horror stories because, fuck them.
Perfect. Fuck them. Exactly. But I think that's what so many people like who do follow you, and for the audience, we're going to link her and everything. But like, I think that's what so many people admire about you. And one thing I really admire about you is you're so unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
And you're just so outspoken about what you believe in, and you have like your core beliefs and what you believe to be true. And I think it's so cool to see and like experience. And like, that's a really cool energy to be around, because I'm someone who doesn't really like share my thoughts as much or as often. I feel like I have like some things, but I'm not as outspoken as I would like to be. And it's really cool to see
Just do
that
it.
you're like that. Yeah.
Just
but
do it.
if you want to give us a little intro into like who you are, where people can find you and what you do.
Okay. My name is Dakotah. I've been an esthetician for, I like to say 10 years, but I've had my license like 7. I was just a front desk girl for the first like 3 or 4 years of my career, but I learned so much when I was a receptionist. So I count that as being in the industry. So I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary, and now I work with my fiance. A lot of people wonder if we're married. We're not married, but we do call each other husband and wife because we don't play by the rules.
Yeah.
But we did combine our businesses last year. So I think we're coming up on 1 year together, maybe. Who knows anything about time? I don't know. But we've been there a while. And he's doing a full powerlifting gym in the back. He has chiropractor, massage therapy, all kinds of stuff back there. Everybody's their own business owner, so we all just pay rent and grow our own businesses. But I was reluctant to move in with him because I'm a salon girl. I'm a beauty expert. So I didn't really know if that would fit with a powerlifting gym. And I've been really surprised at how well everything flows. Like everything just kind of makes sense. Like all of our clients end up going to like every business owner in the building.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So we kind of want to create like a full wellness center where it's just like a bunch of small business owners trying to help people design their avatar. That's what we like to call it. Like just create your avatar. You can like lift and change your body and then come get a facial, get your lashes on. And it's like a little Jetsons, like, and then you just go out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So
did I answer your questions?
Yeah, totally. Or what's your at? Where can people find you?
Okay, so I'm at on Instagram.
Yeah.
Dakotah Tyrene on Instagram. That's my middle name. I took my middle name and made it like my brand because as a woman, my last name is always subject to change. Got to pick somebody's last name, I guess. It's either my dad's or my future husband. So I just go by Dakotah Tyrene so that it's like something that always sticks with me. And I'm in Woodinville, right next to Ales and Tails. So it's a bunch of like breweries, dog friendly people.
Cute.
So it's like the perfect, I was really, really skeptical that it was going to work, honestly, but Brandon has proven to me over and over and over again that it's going to work.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
so
it's really
how
fun.
long have you guys been together?
Our 4-year anniversary is a couple days before my birthday in January.
Mhm.
So we're coming up on 4 years pretty soon here.
That's so cool. Was
Yeah.
that hard? Like
Yes.
wanting to
I don't even know the question, but yes. Yeah.
Relationships are hard.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of
especially,
work.
like, deciding to put your businesses together and go in on something together, because I
Yeah.
feel like I've always been like, this is my identity and like it's my thing.
Yeah.
And it's mine. Like, did you struggle with any of that?
Yeah, I still do struggle with that
Mhm.
because I was always at medical spas. So the environment at medical spas is very different than the environment that I've created at my medical spa.
Mhm.
Everything is very clean. There's no purple hair. People don't
Yeah.
have tattoos. I wasn't even allowed to have piercings or anything when I was working at medical spas. So I really wanted to like change the energy when
Mhm.
I combined with Brandon. But sometimes he walks into my treatment room just because he's like amped up on pre-workout and like lifting, and all of his clients are chilling back there.
Mhm.
And he'll come in when I'm microneedling and be like, babe, you're doing great. Because that's just like his
Yeah.
personality. And I'm like,
Mhm.
thanks. And my clients always like it. But in the back of my head, I'm like, get the fuck out. Like,
Yeah. What are you
I
doing
love
here?
you, but get that masculine energy out of here for
Mhm.
this moment.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been hard, but it's been really good. I feel like it
Mhm.
just like forces us to be vulnerable with each other.
Mhm.
That's like the key to making like the business work and everybody
Yeah.
flow. Like if I'm in a bad mood, I feel like the people that are around me just kind of have to be like supportive and willing to hear me out, and same for them. Like Brandon's allowed to have bad days, and
Mhm.
I think we're pretty good about boundaries.
Yeah.
So if he knows I just need my space, he's
Mhm.
really good at shutting the door and going to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And especially too, like, being mature enough to be like, oh, like I might have to put myself in that position to be vulnerable. I have to communicate these things
Yeah.
so we can work through them and move forward and have a successful business together
Right.
and a successful relationship outside of the business.
Right.
Do you feel like sometimes that's hard to turn off work, or do you guys love like talking about work together? Or are you sometimes
Both.
like, can we just have dinner?
Yeah, it's definitely, I've said that to Brandon many times. Like, I just
Mhm.
need you to turn it off. But he's really good about like, oh, okay, sorry. I didn't realize that I was doing that.
Yeah.
I have like one of the most self-aware boyfriends on earth, I'm pretty sure.
That's
so
so
he
nice.
makes mistakes all the time, but he's really, really self-aware. And the guys that he's invited into the gym, I feel like they have the same values. Because
Mhm.
I'm just really skeptical of men. Like, you just have to prove yourself to me before we're gonna kick it.
Yeah.
And they've all done that. So
Mhm.
I love being around. I actually love all the men at the gym right
Mhm.
now. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I do. I love them all. They all are like really open and vulnerable, and they're really open to talking
Mhm.
about their feelings, and they
Mhm.
understand that girls move through the world differently, and they're like open to having
Mhm.
conversations about that and stuff. So
Mhm.
they're my good students.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's so cool. And I feel like that way very much about the production crew
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I feel like all of them are so just open.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Aaron and I had a conversation and talking about men being vulnerable, and like when you do find men that you can hang out with and be around and be in relationships that are willing to put in the work to be vulnerable and have conversations like that, it's so refreshing. Because I feel the same way. I'm like, I do not trust anybody, like
Mhm.
male or female, almost in the beginning, and
I
then
shouldn't
it's like
just rag on men. It's everybody, but
yeah, and it's like I don't know where that comes from or stems from, but I mean obviously
Trauma.
childhood, like all of that shit, but it's just like it's so refreshing to find just like people in general.
yeah,
who-
they're all in like the same wavelength and like
Mhm.
want to work on themselves
Yeah.
and figure out how to put that into their business. Because
Mhm.
I feel like that's where it comes from. Like the conversations that I have with my clients, it's because I have such a desire to fix myself. And I know I shouldn't use that
Mhm.
word, but I'll say like improve myself
Yeah.
or like change things about myself. And I
Mhm.
think other people are really seeking that right now. Because what
Mhm.
else do we have right now in this crazy world? Like you
Yeah.
might as well just work on yourself
Right.
and all just be better people so we can have better conversations.
Mhm.
And that's like the basis of what we do. Like we're trying to get everybody to just talk more and be
Yeah.
respectful and like hang out with people you have different opinions than, and like
Mhm.
we're all vibing.
Yeah, and like you said too, like designing your avatar. I feel like
Yeah,
that's been
I
like a
love saying
common
that.
theme of some of the podcasts. It's like knowing that you have one life and
Yeah.
you can literally create the life you want. You can create the person, the personality, the traits. Like
Yeah.
you have the ability to change the person that you are if you want it bad enough and if you want to grow as an individual. And I think like you said, like lately people want that and they
Mhm.
need that, and sometimes it takes getting out of your comfort zone or like not hanging out with the friends that you normally hang out with because you know you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And if you're surrounding yourself with people at like a wellness center like that, it would be hard to not want to continue to grow
Right.
and work on yourself.
Yeah.
Like the people around you inspire you.
Yes.
And that's how it should be. Your group should be like that.
Yeah. And
They
I'm
should wanna
trying to
push
create a
you.
space where like even if you don't want to work out, you still feel comfortable to come hang out.
Mhm.
And that happens a lot because
Yeah.
we have a gym dog, so people will
I
just come hang
know.
out with our Roddy and
He's so
sit and chill.
cute.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
All the stories that I see you guys posting of him, I'm like, I would just come hang out with the dog.
Yeah, I just got him an air tag. So when I
Uh-huh.
left the gym today, my phone was like, "You've left Tank behind," and I'm like,
Oh.
"No," but he's with his dad.
That's so cute. You're like, he's fine.
Yeah,
he's
he's
good.
fine. He's fine. He's in a dog-friendly little cul-de-sac.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think that's so cool. I need to come visit. Can I
Yeah,
come
you
visit?
should. We're doing an event tomorrow. It's
Oh,
free. It's
okay.
just it's group meditation. We're all just gonna sit and share space with each other. We like to do meditation so that it's like more open to everybody. So it's not,
Mhm.
giving like the wrong vibe. We're literally just sharing space with each other and like listening to empowering words.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna do some plant medicine and then
love
just
that.
eat and have like a Friendsgiving thing. We're
Oh
trying
my
to have
gosh, that's
events
so
like that like
fun.
every month if you want to come.
That's so cool.
Tessa will be there.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
We'll get info off camera.
Okay, I'll tag you in my post. Yeah.
Perfect. I can't wait. Okay, so I want to go back to thinking about like, okay, so you've been in the industry for 10 years.
Yeah.
What do you think has changed in the industry, or what do you feel
I
like
don't mean to laugh, but like everything. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, it's so different.
it's like adapt or die. Like
Mhm.
everything is constantly changing. Like what are things that you feel like, okay, I latched onto this and these are things like I know to be true and I love about the industry, or things that you're like, not really good advice?
I mean, I feel like I sound like a little bit like a broken record saying this because it's like a buzzword right now, but authenticity is key. Like I feel I have known from day one as an esthetician that that's what people like about me. And a lot of people see me honestly just to talk and they know I'm going to be real with them about like pricing and like what you actually need and what you should invest your money in. So authenticity is key, just like being yourself. I feel like it can easily get really performative when you're in the beauty industry. Like you're trying to be like this picture perfect person. I got lost in that for a little bit too, like where every picture that I posted was super edited and like had a lot of planning. Like my outfit today, this took a lot of planning.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like you need to do that all the time. Like,
No.
and TikTok is so popular right now because people are just taking videos in their cars and like, I don't know, they're sleepy, they're tired, and they're just video recording themselves like in really natural environments.
Yeah.
And I love that. I feel like that's like what people are searching for, and especially girls, because we're just so tired of the Photoshop or whatever that song is.
Exactly. Well, and I
Yeah.
feel like too, like before social media, even that's what all the magazines told us. Like
Yeah.
you need to look like this, you need to act like this, or even like you said, like the performative aspect of it. Like when I first got on social media, it was so professional. It was curated. It was like
Yeah.
what I thought I needed to do to sell myself.
And that gets so boring.
And it's
right?
hard to keep up with that
Yeah.
because it's not real.
Yeah. And then you have something that you really want to share and you're like, does this fit with my aesthetic? And I just got so tired of that. So I go on my Instagram all the time now. Like whenever I'm just, because when you're an esthetician, I feel like I'm just alone a lot. Like I work with a lot of people. I have a great community, but
Right.
in between my clients or like when I'm one-on-one with my clients, like you just spend a lot of time with yourself.
Yeah.
And I live inside my head. So I would like to share that on the internet. And that's pretty much just what I tap into and hope that people see me for who I am and
Yeah.
show up for the right reasons.
Well, and I think too, like the more authentic you are to who you are, first of all, it's easier to show up that way. And second
Yeah.
of all, like the people who like you 10 times more.
Yeah.
And then you're deterring people who wouldn't align with you anyways.
Yeah.
So you start to attract those people who
That's
are
been such
actually
a hot
meant
topic
for
lately
you.
at our place
Mhm.
because I feel like I don't know what that saying is, but your vibe like attracts your people.
Mhm.
And my clientele has changed so much since when I first started, because I used to work at like a really high-end medical spa in downtown Kirkland, so everybody had a Pomeranian and a glass of
Yeah.
wine in their hand.
Yeah.
And they're great. Like it's regular income. They're amazing clients. But I wasn't really having like supernatural conversations with them. It was performative. I was working
Yeah.
at a medical spa, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to like play by the rules.
Mhm.
And now like I'm more open about plant medicine and like what I'm into and meditation, and I can look the way that I want to. The second
Right.
that I got out of the medical spas, I just immediately dyed my hair purple
Mhm.
because I couldn't do that when I worked there. But yeah, my clientele is super different now. I feel like I'm always hanging out with my friends.
Yeah. I think that's what's so fun about it too. And like owning your own business. I feel like so many people go out on their own and think, I have to do it the way everyone else is doing it, or I have to still be professional, or
Yeah.
especially like coming from a med spa setting, it probably feels like, oh, this is the way things have to be done.
Yeah.
And you know, kind of breaking out of that and realizing like, no, wait, I get to be me. I get to do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck I want.
And
'cause
people
this is my
like
business.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just brainwash you. Like they really make you think that if you're not like kind of looking like everybody else that you work with, because that's
Mhm.
something I don't know how deep we should get into it, but the medical spa is really whitewashed. Like it's
Mhm.
everybody's blonde and tall. No shade
Mhm.
to your blonde hair, but everybody just kind of looks
Mhm.
really similar.
Yeah.
And when I started opening my own medical spa and combined with my husband and everything, like we wanted to make it a point to have an environment where everyone felt welcome. And I feel like
Mhm.
everybody says that, but we mean it.
Yeah.
Like we're very careful about like what kind of signs we hang up and
Yeah.
like the way that the gym looks, because we
Mhm.
want everybody to be muscle heads there, but we
Yeah.
don't want to only attract the muscle heads. We want to
Mhm.
attract like queer people and all sorts of people that need like their own community
Mhm.
without being like so loud about it that you
Right.
lose the gym heads. Like we
Right.
literally want everyone to feel welcome, and that
Mhm.
is so hard to balance.
Mhm.
Especially when coming from a med spa, because they really drilled it into me to
Mhm.
like have short nails and like look and
Mhm.
wear my little outfit and just be
Yeah.
very, I don't know what that word is, like
Mhm.
cookie cutter.
Kind of
Yeah.
like muted or like toned down
like
version.
turn your personality off, please. Like you need to
Mhm.
blend with everyone.
Right.
When I got fired from med spa, they actually told me I was too independent to work with the team, and it literally broke my heart. And now I will never forget what she said to me, because I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
But I do work with the team. I'm
Mhm.
just doing it in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so cool about it too, is like understanding and realizing those things that hurt our feelings
Yeah.
could also be like the driving force of like our
Yeah.
business or our personality moving forward, and being like, no, this isn't a bad thing. Like this is a good thing, and I get to utilize this differently, or I get to be independent in this way.
Right.
And it does help. Like it can be conducive to a team setting.
Yeah.
And
You just gotta like let people be sparkly though. Like I say that to everybody that I
Yes.
work with. Like
Mhm.
everybody deserves to be sparkly here. I don't need to be the sparkliest person here. Like you can
Mhm.
find your own I always say that word wrong. Niche.
Mhm.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah. I feel like it's so frustrating because you can say niche or niche
Yeah, I'm
or
like,
whatever. and I'm
what
like, what's the right one?
What is the right? Yeah, English is a very stupid language if you ask me.
It
There's a
really
lot
is.
of mistakes that
there,
just
there,
went-
there,
Yeah.
dear. I think about all those things. It's
Mhm.
like, why did they
drive
do
on a
this to us?
parkway, park on a driveway.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. When we travel, people always say like they're so quick to apologize for not being able to speak English.
Mhm.
And me and Brandon are always like, no, like we are so sorry that we only speak one language. Like I'm sorry that you're struggling, but it's not you, it's us.
Yeah.
We come from America. Like all we speak is English.
Mhm.
And a lady actually said to me that I should think about it differently. She was like, you should feel lucky that everybody speaks the same language where you came from. I was like, damn.
Mhm.
Like I love this new world where you're always getting checked.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember I was in Bali
Oh,
and
I haven't been there yet.
we were speaking with people who were from France, and they spoke French and they spoke English. And then this other couple came in. They were like, I don't know what, I think they were German. So they spoke German and English.
Mhm.
And then one of the wives like spoke English decently, and she was
Mhm.
like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I'm the asshole because you
Yeah.
guys all speak two languages,
Right.
and you're like,
And I only speak
you're
one.
helping me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are so sweet. I'm like, God, I feel dumb.
Yeah. I wish that they knew how we felt when they say that to us.
Mhm. I know. They're like,
I'm like, why are you apologizing to me?
I know.
I took French too, and I don't remember a lick of it.
I took Spanish. I went through Spanish 3. I feel like I can understand it decently enough to get by.
Yeah.
But all I got is like, dame lo cerveza. Like,
Oh,
I
wow.
need another beer.
Good job.
Or, "Donde
Can I get
está-"
another beer?
Or donde está el baño? Like, that's all I got. I was like, I'm going to Mexico in January. I'm like, maybe I should download Duolingo. So I'm not such an asshole.
There's a lot of Spanish speakers at our gym, so I feel like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they're talking, and I'm like, oh, I think I just understood what you said.
Mhm.
Couldn't say it back to you, but I know what you're talking
like, I
about.
picked up enough.
Yeah. That's all you got to
That's
do
so
is just
cool.
surround yourself with it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, just like speak it all the time. Everyone's gonna be like, I don't know what you're saying, but I'd be like, I know what I'm saying to you. Okay, so I want to go back to like talking about what it's like sharing a space with Brandon. Have you guys had any like challenges, or has like bringing your businesses together and combine them affected your relationship at all?
I feel like it's improved it, which is the complete opposite of what I thought was going to happen. But I feel like we fought more when we weren't working together, because we both work one-on-one with clientele.
Yeah.
So I feel like that can feel kind of like weird sometimes when you're just watching your partner like with other people all day long. It kind of feels like he has like this whole life going on, like this whole like work thing going on that I'm not a part of. And it used to make me feel like really excluded because I wasn't a gym rat when I met Brandon. So when I would go to the gym, I would feel like, oh, I don't know any of his clients. Like, I don't know how to lift. Like, I'm the smallest girl here because he power lifts. So all of his clients are like big booty, beautiful girls. So that was hard for me when I first started, but it kind of like forced me to be more confident and just like understand that me and Brandon have like our own relationship and I don't need to focus on who he's around. It's none of my business. But now we're all sharing the same community and I don't have to second guess myself ever because I know everybody that he's with. So I guess it just like eases my jealousy issues, like working with him all the time. But I've also like feel like I've been able to work on my jealousy issues with him in like a really like public and vulnerable way with all of the people that we're surrounded by. And it's getting me to the place that I want to be at like a lot faster, which can feel really intense sometimes. Like I'm like, oh shit, this is like I have to fix this about myself or like we're not going to vibe anymore. So it's like constant pressure to elevate yourself when you're like working with your partner. You don't have time to fight about bullshit. You literally have to figure it out. Yeah. And that ring on my finger is also like, oh yeah, I'm in it forever. Like, I guess we have to talk it out and figure it out. But yeah, I feel like it's actually really improved our relationship.
Yeah. And I feel like it's good knowing too, like, it's not something that changes overnight.
No.
Like it's continual work and continuously deciding to be like, I'm choosing this person. I'm choosing you. I know we're not going to have great days every day.
Yeah.
But like, we're going to work on it together. And I think it just strengthens the bond too.
And
like,
he gives me complete freedom to decorate. So what is there to fight about?
There's a plus. We love that.
I'm actually like trying to get him to change all the green turf in the gym. I think it should be purple. Like, why is it green? It should be purple. If we can pick the color of the grass, it should be purple.
That would actually be so cool.
Yeah, and I think all the guys are getting on board with it. Like, I dropped a bomb the other day by saying that I'm gonna turn the bathroom pink because I hate the bathroom, and they were all like, "Oh, we're down with that," and they wear pink and stuff now. And I've just watched so many I'm like, it's working. I just sprinkle my little feminine energy on them and then they just like blossom into themselves. I love watching like all the trainers start as such shy like shells of themselves almost. And then they're around Brandon for a few months and they're just like, they just literally blossom into themselves. And it's really nice to watch. He's really good at making people feel confident.
That's so cool. And to be able to have effect on other people to let them know like, hey, it's cool to be yourself. Yeah. Like you're allowed to be you. You're allowed to have your voice and like be more confident in who you are. Like those are the people you need to be surrounding yourself with. And I think that's such a testament to him and you. Yeah. Like anyone that I've talked to that has taken a class from you or worked with you has just had nothing but good things to say about how good they feel leaving. Yeah. And like, that's huge.
I feel like that's become our new obsession. Like the goal isn't even strength or perfect skin anymore. Yeah. We're just like creating a huge community of people who are proud to be themselves and like really outspoken. Yeah. Everyone at the gym is super outspoken. They're all going to have their little podcast. And I support it, whatever. I feel like your business skyrockets when it's more than just like your craft. Like it's you and your problems in your life and your relationship and your pets and like where you're going. Like I feel like my clients like to see all of that. So it's forced me to show everyone everything and I can be kind of shy about that. So
well, I feel like people like to see behind the scenes of things. Yeah. And like I've said this a million times, we watch the Kardashians eat salads. It's nobody cares. But like how many people want that recipe and things like little things like that. Like we think these mundane things in our lives are boring or annoying and nobody wants to see them, but in reality they do. And when you're creating a personal brand the way that you've created a personal brand, people want to see your dog. Yeah. People want to see what you're eating. People want to see what you're doing. They want to hear your tangent that you're going off on about who knows what.
Tangents.
You know, like people love to see that and it just connects them with you that much more and makes them feel like they know you. And especially too, like if it's someone who hasn't met you in real life and then you meet them in real life and you're like, oh, you're the exact same person that I see on Instagram.
I get that a lot. That's like my favorite thing that people say to me. I'm like, thank God, I'm trying so hard to like not perform when I'm online. And even now I'm still deleting my stories like way too many times and just re-uploading them when I should just just upload, just let it go. But I'm constantly like tone policing myself and stuff. But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better.
I think sometimes I'll delete them if I don't have like high enough energy for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But if I like stumble over words, I'm like, fuck it, whatever. People want to see that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not perfect.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm not gonna try to be.
Brandon did his first podcast the other day, and everybody knows he really struggles with ADHD, and it also makes him the most amazing like perfectionist, on top of it, super motivated person ever. So it's not an insult that he has ADHD, but it can really affect his ability to like hold a conversation because he gets distracted so often.
Yeah.
So in the podcast he was doing, there were so many moments where he was like, "Oh, I forgot what I said." And I'm like, that's gonna be me today. It's gonna be like mid-sentence, you just drop it. Yeah, whatever.
But
like,
that's okay. And
it's just human.
Yeah. And I feel like people enjoy seeing that too, because I was even just speaking at an event this past weekend.
Yeah, LashCon. Good job. You had a great outfit. Loved it. Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I was speaking in like one of my slides, I wrote the same thing twice.
Oh.
And I was just like, well, guess I didn't look over this one like too much, and like the crowd laughed or whatever. And like a couple people were like, it's cool to see that like you still make mistakes, because I think specifically with social media, so many people see these people who amass a following or like have a really strong social presence, and they're like, you must be super confident and you must be like, you have all your shit together and you have all this stuff going. And it's like, we're human too. We fuck up. Like there are things that happen that are, you know, not ideal or whatever. And it's like, it's okay. You got to roll with it and you just got to learn from it.
Yeah. Yeah, people really got to get past like all the makeup and filters and stuff like that, and remember that I have anxiety. I cry every day. Like I'm experimenting with medicine to try to make my brain work better. I have issues. Me and Brandon fight. Yeah, like we're very normal people. I'm just happen to be a beauty expert.
Yeah, it's like happen to put more of my life on social media than some people do.
Yeah, I joked the other day that some people are just better at faking it than others, and I feel like I'm really good at faking it. It comes with being neurodivergent. I don't know if you're familiar with that word, but I'm super neurodivergent. And there's a term in that community called like masking, when you're kind of like turning off your neurodivergentness to like perform well. I'm really good at that. I learned how to do that when I worked at medical spas, when you have to like be this, you know, soft-spoken, like no opinions type of person that's just like they used to take my political books out of my room and stuff. They were really intense about like me. Yeah, that's just how it is at medical spas. Yeah, it's not because they didn't like my politics. They just don't want me talking about politics. Right. And now that's all I talk about. So freedom.
You're like, let's get into it. Yeah. Well, and I think that's so cool too, just to be able to open up that conversation with people and with your clients, and like especially like the following that you've amassed and like the clientele that you've come to, you know, or they've come to find you, right? Like those people are open to hearing your thoughts, and they probably share the same thoughts, or maybe they have differing thoughts, but it's like you've created a space that's so open and welcoming that like you can have differing opinions, but you can still like connect with them, and you can still service them, and you can still like welcome them into your space, and like there's no like tension or weird
I've had
feelings.
Some really hard conversations with a lot of parents, like because I see kids, and for example, I actually had a full conversation with like about gender and like what non-binary means with a mom, because she was struggling with her kid being non-binary, and I was like, look, like this doesn't matter. And I just kind of showed her like a different perspective of like I don't even think you should be worried about her gender, and that's kind of why she is non-binary. And you could see something in her head like clicked, and she was like, wow, I need to stop obsessing over people's genitals, because that's essentially what it is when you're like obsessing over someone's gender or how they want to like be perceived. You're like kind of, you need to like mind your business a little bit. Like that's kind of what I was saying to her in like a more intelligent, like nice way. But she was like, oh wow, yeah, I totally get it. I'm like, yes, score. Don't even care what your skin looks like. I'm so happy you guys can talk about this now. And yeah, they've been my clients since I was like 17.
That's so cool. Well, especially too, like you probably never would have met them or had that conversation working in a med spa. Yeah. And
I met them in the med spa though.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I was just talking about this yesterday, but I have like maybe 6 clients that have been with me from the med spa until now. And they're very different from my clientele. Yeah. It's a lot of like moms and older women, and I love them so much, but they've watched me go through so many changes, and I only have 6 left, but they're the most important 6 clients that I have, because they've watched me completely change my everything.
Your avatar.
Well, really, I just upgraded my avatar, but I really just like became more myself.
Yeah. I think that's so cool, and like I think it's so cool having clients see you through every phase of your business and yourself, and
I
like
started
just
with
growing.
braces.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was actually a bikini barista, like before I was an esthetician. And I remember one day I was like, how am I going to find a job that is going to pay this well with like this little effort?
Yeah.
And definitely didn't come with little effort. But now that I've been doing it for so long,
Yeah.
it's easier than being a bikini barista.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I love bikini baristas though, no shade.
I follow this one bikini barista on TikTok and she cracks me up. She's
I
hilarious.
wonder if it's the one that I watch.
She's like blonde and like has lip fillers.
Aren't they all? Yeah.
Probably.
Me too.
I'm like blonde and
that
lip
was
fillers.
me. No, just kidding.
That's so funny. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about like how you specialize in skincare. Is that correct?
I do.
But you do like all the things.
I do, yeah. I'm down to like 5 lash clients.
Yeah.
I've been lashing for a really long time, but skincare is my jam. I really like to specialize in like acne treatments and age-defying stuff. And people who are thinking about going on Accutane, I love like snatching them from their derms and being like, man, but what about tretinoin? You could just try this
like,
instead.
No.
Yeah. You don't need to take the pill or go on birth control or anything if you don't want to. Sometimes that does work for people, but it doesn't have to be your first choice.
I know it's so interesting to me, like different medications they want to prescribe you before trying other things. Because I mean, it seems like the easiest thing or probably makes them more money, but
they're all on doxycycline and spironolactone the day that I meet them, and I just try to get them off of all of it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to watch their bodies change when people go off birth control. I'm not knocking birth control. I think it's great. I love modern science, but I think it's super overprescribed. I'll say that much. And a lot of girls are on it specifically for skin. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you change your, like, mess with your internal, like, put artificial hormones in your body just for a pimple? That seems very vain to me. So I kind of try to, like, give that perspective to parents who are thinking about putting their kids on Accutane. I'm like, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
You know? Like, is it? Sometimes it is if it's painful.
Yeah.
But I've seen clients that just are struggling with, like, closed comedones, like just blackheads. It's like a dehydration issue or a puberty issue.
Yeah.
And to go straight on Accutane, you don't even get the chance to understand your body before you go on a medicine, and then it changes the way that your body works, and now you don't know why you had acne. So whenever you go off that medicine, it's going to come right back. And as soon as you explain that, they're like, okay, how much does the retinol cost? I'm like, I got you.
I definitely had a couple friends like go through Accutane or take Accutane like in high school, and I remember they would just say their skin was so dry and like flaky.
Yeah.
Like it looked like they had a chemical peel.
Yeah.
But the
it
acne
permanently shrinks your sebaceous glands. So all the oil production that you hate so much when you're getting breakouts, you need that later. So it's gonna cut right. So it's gonna cause like extreme aging and extreme dry skin. I have a theory that you scar easier once you've gone on Accutane because the oil in your skin is what helps your skin heal and dehydrated skin types, and it's going to scar a lot worse when you get a pimple.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
I was like the esthetician that wanted to do makeup. And so the skincare stuff, I was like, me.
Yeah.
Like whatever. And then I found lashes and I was like, I only want to do lashes. And now whenever I hear estheticians, when I like get facials now, I'm like, talk to me as if I know nothing, because I just don't know anything, or I like hear words you're saying and I'm like, okay, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But like
you went to training too. It's in there. You're just not using it.
Way back.
Yeah.
2014, 8
years
ago.
I think I was 2015.
Yeah.
I was trying to find my license in case you asked me, but I'm pretty sure I graduated from the Euro in 2015. But I had already been in the medical thing for like 3 years. So I was very like, I don't need this.
You're like, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
And now I'm like looking back at my books, like, what does that mean again? I have to go back to the basics.
When
all
we
the time.
had to memorize all of the muscles in the face and everything, I was like, I'm never gonna use this.
Right.
Not used it once.
Yeah.
I remember
but
this
maybe you want to do like
platysma.
injections one day, and then you'll have to know.
I'd have to go back to school.
Oh.
I think I'm over it.
I'm over it as well. I just want to teach and chill and express myself.
So speaking of teaching, what are your classes like and what do you focus on?
I'm really flexible with classes because I feel like I could teach anybody anything. I don't know if that sounds cocky, but I could do aesthetics in my sleep at this point. So anything you want to learn, I feel like I could teach. I do try to stay away from lashes though. Yeah. Just because like the training and stuff now seems a lot more extensive than what I've taken. I don't have like a temperature thing in my room. I'm just lashing. So anytime people are seeking lashes, I probably just send them to you, to be honest.
I appreciate it.
Skin, microneedling. I've taught an extraction class. I work with a company called Skin Therapeutic in Arkansas, and I teach for them. So I teach chemical peel application, but literally everything. We're holding a dermaplaning class in the beginning of December. Like whatever people ask me for, I just kind of like put it together.
Yeah.
And I always do one-on-one training, like whenever. And I just kind of hold classes like a few times a month when it makes sense and the salon is slower, or I have a day where no one's going to be there. I'll just hold a class. But I kind of just do what the people want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anything in skin, I'm down to teach.
Well, you can tell too how passionate you are about all the things in skin.
Yeah.
Instead of like being, or like specifically speaking about me, like with lash training, I'm like, I don't want to teach people classic anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like I just want to go
that.
straight to volume. I want it to be like an advanced course.
Right.
Like I want you to kind of have your basics down, and then we can come in and like tweak everything to like make your work look a certain way.
Yeah. Who does classic lashes anymore? Come on.
I actually did a classic set not too long ago. And
did
I
you
was
like
like,
it?
I was like, oh, this is actually really pretty.
I guess if they have enough lashes, it could be really fire.
Exactly.
But most of the people that are seeking lash extensions are seeking lashes.
That's what I want. I'm
we
like,
need volume.
fuck me up, fam.
Yeah.
Like, I want all the lashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they have enough lashes, like the classic sets are really pretty. I think it took me like 90 minutes to do too. And I was like,
wow.
this is really nice.
You're like, wow, I could have done this with my eyes closed. And then you get a volume set. You're like, all right, I got to think a little bit. I got to
like,
make
all
a
right,
fan.
4 hours later.
Yeah.
I'm getting every single lash.
Yeah. I could lash for like 30 minutes up to 6 hours. It just depends on what kind of time my client has.
Like how many lashes do you have? What kind of fans am I making? What diameter am I using? But
that's why I stick to skin.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You take a lot of the like customization out of it with skin, because everything is very like by the book. Like, here's your skin type. This is what you need. Let me put you on this. So it takes a lot of the like questions out of the situation for me. Like I can just explain how to do your skincare routine and see you in a month.
Right.
And lashes, they're like, I have an event coming up. Like I cried them off. I pulled them off. I don't know why they came off. And I'm like, fuck, I have facials. I don't know if I can prioritize this.
It's like too many variables with lashes.
I just cut my client list. I don't take more than 5.
Exactly. So when did you start training, and what made you want to get into training?
Skin therapeutic for sure.
Yeah.
I gotta shout out Kristen. She's like one of my mentors that works in Arkansas, and she's completely changing the aesthetics industry down south. They're very behind a little bit when I've gone down there, so I'm really impressed with what she's done with aesthetics down there. But they basically found me on social media because I love their products, and when I was working at a medical spa, those were the chemical peels that I used. But they are very thin applications of peels, so you have to layer them up. And I remember the first time that peel was in my room, I literally just grabbed it and dumped it into my hand and like put it on my client because I didn't know what I was doing. And I wanted to like impress the medical spa, and I knew the client, so I just wanted to like do the peel and try to impress them. And now I teach for that company, which is so funny because I did that peel so wrong, but the client got the best reaction from it because she just had the skin type that could handle a mistake, so to speak. That's why I experimented on her. But she ended up having like a great result, and then I got hooked on those peels. And when they hired Kristen, they reached out to me and said, well, first they asked me if my followers were fake, and I was like, babes, I have like 5,000. Like if they were fake, I would have bought more.
I'd have 100,000 if I bought them.
Right. Yeah, but they told me that they don't have a teaching, like they don't have a teacher or any sort of like curriculum set up for their chemical peels. And I was like, well, that's important. And then I told them my horror story. I'm like, this is how I used your peel because I didn't have any instructions. And they kind of like put a class together for me, and I'm their first teacher, and they're looking to hire other teachers. I think they want to expand and like teach all over. But that was my first class that I taught. And with them kind of like holding my hand, I felt more confident saying I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's really easy to say you're a teacher when you don't really have that much experience in teaching. And I have imposter syndrome. So I wanted to make sure that I really knew what I was talking about, and I was going to present something like really like a good investment for other small business owners and something that pays you back.
Totally.
And that's how I advertise the class. So I always tell people like that I can teach you how to make your money back and double it. And I promise you it's a good investment. You go home with lots of products. I try not to just like steal people's money, but like just for my time, I want to give them things that they can actually use like immediately when they leave the class.
I feel like that's such a good thing to look for in a trainer too, because that's something like I pride myself on. Like, no, I'll look at your price, like your price menu, and I'm going to completely change it so you can actually make money that way you want to make money.
Right. It's more than just information. Like you have to teach them how to be a business owner.
And I feel like too, it's hard to kind of translate that to, not necessarily hard, but sometimes like when you're selling, sometimes people, and I feel like that's where a lot of people, when they do start training or when they do start taking clients, they have a hard time selling themselves instead of looking at it like, no, like you're giving someone a transformation. Like the benefits that they're getting from your course or your service are worth so much more, especially if your heart's in it, in the way of like you said, and like we were talking about earlier, like the biggest thing that's always been for me is I want to help people feel confident.
Right.
Whether that's doing their lashes or having them come in for a training and making them feel more confident in their fans or their retention, or confident in like having those tough conversations, setting up boundaries with clients.
Yeah.
And going home and being like, oh, I'm excited about my business again.
Yeah.
Like that's really exciting. And
I love
fun.
that feeling, that like high you get after you teach a class or something, and all the students are like, I loved today, and I'm like, oh my god,
when
me too.
you say one thing and then you can see the light bulb go off and you're like, I got it, I made it in there.
Yes.
Like we're good.
Everybody always has the same questions at my class, so I feel like I've like become a professional conversationalist. I'm like, I fucking got this.
I'm like, I know exactly what you're gonna ask me, and I have a perfect answer for you. Like, don't you worry. And I feel like too, like for those of you listening, like who want to be a trainer, like you're not going to feel that way in the beginning.
No.
Like it's okay to be like, hey, I don't know the answer to this question, I'm going to get back to you, or like let's figure it out together, or here's what I would do, but like let me test it. And then you know,
I feel like people who are like quick to admit that they don't know the answer, those are the people that you should be seeking out. Like the ones that say, I always get nervous when estheticians are like, oh yeah, I've had my license for 13 years. And I'm like, cool. When was the last class you took? Like how updated is your information? Because having a license for a long time doesn't really mean anything in the beauty industry, because everything is so new all the time. And I've met girls who have had their license for like 1 week, and I'm like, damn, you're smart. Like you know a lot about skincare. And then there's other people that have been in the industry forever and they don't know how to do more updated treatments, which is fine, but it's not always like experience. It's just kind of like you have it or you don't. I don't know if that's rude to say, but
no, not at all.
I feel like a lot of people have become estheticians and trainers and personal trainers and like teachers and all of those jobs that the schooling is a little bit more like attainable for some people. But I don't think it's like for everyone. You got to be really passionate about it or you're going to fizzle out.
I completely agree. And I think to like piggyback off of what you said, like I've always said like years experience does not equal quality. Like you can
put that on a t-shirt.
Like I have a friend who's been in the lash industry maybe a year and she's killing it, and like she's doing trainings and she's doing all of this because she understands it. She's done her work, she's taken classes, and I think anything in the beauty industry, like you are going to have to take continuing education classes if you want to stay up on what is happening in the beauty industry.
Exactly. Like, and we're going to be out there teaching.
Come see us. I still take a class every year.
I just go to all the events that I can and try to read everybody's books. But I always tell my students, like, if you see someone online who you kind of want to like be like, offer her some money and go train with her. Like, go shadow. Because most people are willing to do that, to let you just like, that's how it started for me. Like before I became a teacher, I would just let people pay a little bit to just come sit with me all day, and whatever treatments I'm doing, that's what you're learning. And I've actually had some clients like let my students work on them like in the middle of their treatment, and I love that. Like I actually have a system where people who can't afford microneedling, I set them up with students. So really the student can pay for the microneedling, and then my acne client can get her treatment, and a student can learn how to do the acne treatment, so everybody wins.
That's really cool.
It's a good idea.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Skincare is really expensive, so trying to make it more attainable for people, more affordable.
It is really
accessible.
Speaking of like things being accessible, or not necessarily accessible, but like when you're looking for an esthetician, what questions should like clients be asking, or what do you think? They should be to
hire
for?
One to do your skin,
like to come in. Like, do you have anything?
I love medical spa experience, like any sort of like backgrounds with dermatology or anything like that. I do like to see that. It's not required, but I feel like they have a more thorough understanding of like tretinoin and how it works on your skin, and hydroquinone and all these like ingredients that are out there right now. Like, I want to hear those buzzwords before I'm ready to let you touch my face. Like, I just want you to have like a basic understanding. But I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to figure out which people know. Get a consultation. That would be my best advice. Get a consultation, and if they sound confident, I mean, I would go for it. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to deter people away from new estheticians. But med spa experience is a good place to start, though.
I feel like too, like there's so many people out there now. That sometimes Instagram makes it hard because it's like, oh well, I don't know any of
Right.
this. Or especially
Yeah.
like people who have no background and
Yeah.
have never seen an esthetician or done any facials or anything.
Right.
Like it can feel overwhelming
Yeah. it
in
is
any
overwhelming.
industry, really.
Yeah. And there's a lot of estheticians out there that I feel like do a little more with their license than they probably should be.
Mhm.
Like, I know that we know a lot about birth control, but I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to say like birth control is not the answer for you. My opinion is strictly that like birth control isn't the answer for acne every single time. But I try to be really careful with like how I'm influencing people, because I know I'm really influential on other people, and I don't want to give advice about like prescriptions or medications, or I've never told anyone like what kind of mental health medications that I've taken before, because I know that they will literally go to their doctors and be like, can I have this?
Yeah.
And I don't, and they'll probably give it to them. I don't know.
Right.
The system's a little screwy right now, so I just try to be careful like what I say. And I've definitely been on my For You page before and just seen some estheticians like literally prescribing birth control and like making recommendations about like what kind of birth control their clients should take. And I'm like, damn,
It's a
like
lawsuit waiting to happen.
you learned about the epidermis, babe. Like that's a whole different. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of like mental health and anxiety, like can you speak on that a little bit? And like
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm having a little bit of anxiety right now. It's just the cameras.
Yeah.
But yeah, where do I start? I definitely have had like a long road with mental health. It got really bad during the pandemic. I'm sure everybody right now is going to say same. And that was around the time that me and Brandon decided to start working together. So I kind of got really deep into therapy and taking all these different medications. I was diagnosed with all these different words, and some of them I relate to and some of them I don't. And some of them I feel like you can maybe grow out of or learn how to. I like to say that like therapy really was trying to teach me how to drown my demons, and mushrooms taught me how to swim with my demons, because I feel like it's a part of my personality. Like my anxiety and depression is just a part of me. It's not something that I need to be fighting all the time. So I've learned how to like let them just be with me all the time instead of just trying to get rid of it all the time. I feel like that's what therapy kind of does a little bit. I had a really good therapist, so I don't want to like talk shit about therapy. Therapy is really important. But I got a little like at the end of it, like, okay, what's next? Like, okay, now I have the diagnosis and the pills, and like I know that I should come to this therapy session twice a week, but how do I like live my life with all this new information about myself? And the only thing that's really showed me how to do that is meditation, my community, and psychedelics, if I'm being really honest. I love plant medicine, and I've gone off all of my depression meds, and I simply microdose and talk now. And that's been like the most effective thing for me.
That's so cool. When I think too, like having the courage to be like, I need to try something different. Like I need to see what works with my body and what actually is going to benefit me and help me through this. I was actually on anti-anxiety and depressants at one point, and it did not sit well with my body. I did not like it. I was like, I feel like I'm not myself at all. I like started to have suicidal thoughts. I was like, nope, I'm done. Like I cannot be doing this. I need to find something else.
Therapy too. I felt like she told me, you know, okay, I was like, oh, I'm depressed. And she's like, yeah, you have this. And I'm like, fuck, I have this. And then it was like every day I'm like, I have this, I have this, I have this. I was just constantly telling myself like everything that I do is because I have this thing. Yeah. And it just killed my mood like even more than when I started. And then I just got lost in like my diagnosis and like being obsessed with therapy and like trying to fix myself. And it just didn't work for me. And my favorite thing about mushrooms is that they are non-habit forming. So if you take it every single day, you'll stop feeling them. So it's like impossible to get addicted to them. Can you say that about any prescription med? No. And they're all, and I mean, I hate the word gateway drug, but I just don't think that plant medicine is the gateway drug. I think prescription meds are the new gateway drug.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 100%. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think too, I heard it talked about on a podcast where psychedelics or mushrooms in particular, like think about the snow, like think about your skiing and like you have the grooves in your brain created. And it's almost like mushrooms give you a fresh powder over those grooves so you can create new grooves and new thought process and new, you know,
new thought patterns. That's the most amazing thing about mushrooms is you when you microdose, you kind of forget you took it. Like you shouldn't feel high or anything. That's not an appropriate microdose. But for me, like I'm a very negative thinker. I just grew up around that type of environment. I grew up in Memphis and with a lot of Southern people. So it's just very like woe is me.
Yeah.
And mushrooms really help you change your thought patterns. So you'll like forget you took your microdose, and then at the end of the day, you're like, damn, I was really positive today. Like I've been in a good mood the whole day. And then you're like, oh yeah, I took a mushroom. That's why I'm so happy today.
That's so funny. I've heard more and more people doing that. And like they say it makes them feel more creative, or like you said, more positive, or it feels like,
or sometimes it's the opposite, right? Like sometimes I'm just crying the whole day, because mushrooms will really make everything come to surface for you. Just like any drug kind of does, or like even if you're drinking, you're like, you get that moment of anxiety when you're kind of like going into your drunkenness. Psychedelics really like focus on that moment. So some of your trips are bad, and then a lot of them are really good, but they're all going to be helpful. Even the ones that feel like, people who say I don't want to try them because I've had a bad trip, that was probably like a really effective trip. And you need to do it again and ask the mushrooms what to do with all these feelings.
Right.
They'll guide you the right way.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild. I've never done them before.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow, crazy. It sounds like you
Never.
have.
No, I actually haven't. I've like done a lot of research on them, more because I'm just fascinated and curious, or like I have friends who have, and they'll say like it's like they feel a certain way or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of a baby when it comes to like certain things like that.
You have anxiety, right? Like what is scarier than like being alone with yourself in your head? And that's kind of how it feels when you're shrooming. Yeah. And you get, you can get like flashbacks, or like memories can come back to you. And that can all be really scary for people that have been through shit. Yeah. Because and that's what therapy does, is it can kind of make you like push that stuff down. Yeah. And that doesn't work long term. Yeah. So yeah. It's like switch to mushrooms.
I was listening to this other thing talking about like buffalo run into a storm so they can pass it faster.
Yeah. And it's exposure therapy.
Exactly. Yeah, so instead of like running away from the storm and being in the storm longer, I feel like I go to therapy every week, and I feel like it's really helpful for me to just, because most of the time I just talk out all my feelings. Like I just word vomit at her, and then I come to like conclusions on my own. And then she's like, yep, you got it. Right. I even asked her the other day, I was like, do most people like word vomit at you? Do they want you to talk to them? I was like, because I just kind of work through my own stuff. But I was listening to that thing about like the buffalo running away from the storm. They're in the storm longer because it'll finally catch up to them at some point, rather than basically the way this guy was describing it is, if you face your problems head on and like things that are going on and run to the storm, you're going to run through it so much faster. And I feel like whether that's therapy for you, or psychedelics, or meditation, or combination of all of the above, like
you got to face it head on. Yeah. And exposure therapy really does work. That's a very good point.
Like get through it so much faster. I need to take my own advice, but like it's just so interesting to think about.
I mean, Dermaplane Pro literally called me out for my dermaplaning, like the way that I was holding my blade. They took one of my videos and put it on their own page to say like, this is a shit way to do dermaplaning.
No way.
And it literally went viral. And so I reached out to the company and I was like, hey, do you guys know that this is my video? And I've been an esthetician for like 10 years. And they were like, we're so sorry. Like, it's one of our creators. And I'm like, that's worse. Like, that's worse. That's like, it was really bad. But they ended up taking the video down, and then they tried to call and apologize to me, and I just didn't answer any of their calls.
I wouldn't.
It was really nasty to me. I hate those videos. I know you know what I'm talking about. Where it's just estheticians like taking other people's work and being like, this is what you shouldn't fucking do. And like, maybe you're right, but that's just a terrible approach to things. Like, you have no idea what that esthetician like is going through, or like where her education came from, or why she's holding it like that. Like, you have no idea. And the education is so different state to state. It's pretty bold to just be like, oh, you're holding it wrong, or you're doing something wrong. Like, if the skin looks good and no one's nicked and she's getting improvements, I think we're doing okay. I don't think it really matters how I hold the dermaplaning blade. And I just used it as like a way to talk about my own business, because if you're going to drag mine through the business to try to like get some clout, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to grab those students and show them that they can hold their blade however the fuck they want. As long as the skin is responding the right way and everybody's comfortable and being safe, we're good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I totally agree. There's been a couple things where I've had like a hot take or opinion on certain things, or even the way I hold my tweezer. I hold my isolation tweezer overhand, and everyone else holds it like normal, like a normal way to hold it.
You're so abnormal.
I know.
You and your 6-figure business. Like, but I fucking cares how you're holding it.
Right. Well, and I think it comes down to like, and that's something I've been really vocal about, is it's fucking personal preference.
Yeah.
Like, your clients are paying you for the transformation. It doesn't matter how you get them there.
Right.
If you hold your dermaplane thing a certain way, but
I hold it like a pencil.
But they're getting the same results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, who cares? And
Right.
I think too, that's where a lot of people's fears come in with like trying something new or trying to have opinion on social media, is because they're
Yeah.
worried they're going to get dragged or roasted.
Right.
And like,
And those companies are just trying to create a standard that they can profit off of. And that's what I called Dermaplane Pro out, because I was like, this is not real. We're not talking about like a dermaplaning treatment. We're talking about like a technique that they're trying to profit off of. And they're going to say that my technique is wrong because they want you to pay for their technique. But guess what? You don't have to pay for any technique. You can just learn aesthetics and see what your hands are the most comfortable doing. I happen to have like really bendy fingers. So I feel like I just hold things super differently than people. That's like how I feel the safest when the blade is on top of my hand. And a lot of them, I think that the way that you hold your tweezers, that's how they hold dermaplaning. Yeah, you're kind of like cupping it.
oh yeah,
That doesn't feel safe to me.
yeah.
But to other people, they would feel totally different. I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh my gosh. I think, yeah, that is so tough, especially too, because I'm sure in your trainings, you show people all the different ways to hold, and they get to decide what
I just
feels
kind of say
comfortable for
what
them.
feels good to you. And then I'm like, okay, this is the angle that you need. This is how to not cut people. This is how you hold the skin taut. That it really is 0% important how you're holding the blade.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember I posted a video one time about how much adhesive I used, and I used more adhesive. And so I just got like roasted in the comments about people being like, that's way too much. I can't believe this. And like all this stuff. Or even like I have one post about me washing my lashes, and it's gone pretty viral. And I've gotten so many comments like, that would sting my eyes, or like someone being like, this is way too rough, and like people tagging their friends and being like, I can't believe she's washing that aggressively or whatever, like all these things. And it's just like not really like trolls, but it's just kind of funny to me. And like some comments that are like really mean, or like I've had a couple people comment and be like, she looked better without lash extensions, like delete, like we don't need you here.
That's
but like
so evil.
Some of the other, well, and it's like when they're commenting on people's looks, or like especially when I do my sister's lashes, because hers are way longer and way more full, some people will be like, these are so ugly, like these are so bad. I'm like, whatever, you can just get deleted. Like
congrats to you for staying on the internet, because moments like that is kind of what spooked me. Like I was on TikTok for like one day, and I posted a video of me doing I think it was a dermal infusion, and it went viral. It hit like 1 million views in like an hour, and the comments were insane. I've deleted it now because people were just being so cruel to me, and I kind of had to look at it from like an outside perspective. I'm like, what is this really serving me to like have this video online? Like all of these people don't even, like most of them don't even live in America, let alone Washington. So it just like made me run back to Instagram, where I know my community and like my followers are like actually my clients. So I don't get so much negative feedback and like people telling me that my machines are scams, and like I'm like, girl, that's a big investment for me to make. For me to just try to scam people based off of this like car that I just bought, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, TikTok is scary. So good job staying on the internet and taking
does
that.
Seem scary.
It is kind of scary. I have a
TikTok.
private one now, like where I just post like me and my cats and my outfits and stuff. And Instagram is like my only form of business or whatever that I'm doing right now. Yeah, because I feel like I'm comfortable there. I thought you were on TikTok.
I mean, I have a TikTok, and I have like 3 videos that went like 700,000 to like 900,000 views or something.
That's amazing.
But they want lash stuff, and I'm like, I want to talk about other things too. So I think I just need to put my face out there more. But also like, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm like, you could attack me, I don't care. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Like,
I feel bad for them with it. I've shroomed enough that I'm like, oh,
no,
are you going through something? Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm okay. You can talk shit to me. That's fine.
It's like, and sometimes like they hurt, but then I have to shake it off and be like, okay, this person has no idea who I am. Like, they're projecting.
It hurt when a big company dragged me.
That would suck.
And it shook me. Like the whole day I was like, am I doing my job wrong? And I really had to sit with myself and be like, this is capitalism. Like this is not I'm not bad at my job. Like this is just a company trying to profit off of my pain, which is fucked up. And there was other girls in the video too. So I just made a big stink about it because it was not right.
Yeah, as you should. I'm glad they took that down. I just can't believe like a big company like that would be like, I don't know,
so reckless with their content. Like you didn't even do your research. You don't even know who you're talking to. And the other girls in the video were obviously super new, and that's why I was like so fired up about it because I'm like, come on, like if you really want to, because they always try to cling to that argument that like they don't want clients to go through this bad experience or whatever, and that's just such shit. Like you know that that's not your actual concern. You're just trying to like make them look bad so that you can look better,
so you can sell your training to do it the right way.
Right, exactly. They don't have anybody's best interest except for their own. They're not trying to like educate anyone, and that's my whole argument. Like if you see somebody doing something wrong, or if I saw somebody doing like a really bad chemical peel, if I felt like strongly enough about it, I would probably offer them a class or like a piece of information or something accessible. Like maybe they don't have accessible training, maybe they can't afford it. Like you don't know what people are going through, so try to like extend the olive branch instead of just like burning bridges everywhere. It doesn't help anybody.
No.
And being a mean girl is like so 2005. Like I feel like we're all just friends now.
Oh my gosh. Like even being at this like most recent conference that I was at, you can tell, like you said, like people you're good. I feel like that's an esthetician thing all the time, like just being hungry in your stomach, just hungry, growling in your client's face when they're right here. It's like, sorry girl.
Yeah, I'm like, just give me 1 moment. Okay, we're good. Turn my mic down a little bit.
Right. But yeah, it's like people are longing for connection and they want that real authentic connection. And it's like, it's no longer the days of the mean girls. Like the cliques don't work. Like the people who are like, you can sit with us, like come in with us. Like every time I go to one of these conferences, I leave with a friend. And like,
I love that. I feel like aesthetics didn't used to be like that.
No.
So I guess that's like a positive change that we've made.
Totally.
Is like the community over competition thing is like the new trend. I don't know that everybody is really about it as they say they are.
Yeah.
But I can tell you are.
Yeah. Because it's like, there's no use. And like my thing literally from the very beginning was like, I would ask people questions through Instagram, like, oh, what adhesive do you use? And they'd be like, I can't believe you're asking me for that information. And I was like, what? Like,
geez,
what do
you only got one client or something? Like, there's plenty to go around.
No, exactly. Well,
there's too many to go around, honestly.
That was my thought process. And when people started asking if they could shadow me, I was like, I'm still me. And more often than not, like your clients come to you because of the connection that they've built with you. And of course, like the service is a plus.
Yeah.
And like you get better as you get older and more experience into it, especially if you're continuing to take educational classes.
Right.
But like there's enough faces to go around.
Yeah.
And I knew from day one, I was like, I don't want to do this forever. Like I don't want to have a full clientele forever. I want to do other
Well, you definitely manifested that. You say it enough, it will happen. The universe is very scary how well it listens.
Exactly. And it's like I don't know. I just think there's no room for mean girls.
Yeah, there isn't. I agree.
And like the more authentic you are, I feel like the easier it is to build that community.
Right.
And the more that community has your back and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to build. The trainers that I work with are exactly the same way. Like they're all very chill with their clients and like let them show up in any state, which is really important when it comes to fitness because getting to the gym is like half the struggle.
Yeah.
But I feel like people really like to work with Brandon and Elijah and Kurt and all the trainers at the gym because they're just like really, they just want to sit around and talk about their feelings. They're all just like really feminine guys.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that. The trainer that I work out with, I joke with him. I'm like, I feel like I get a therapy session every time.
That's what I'm saying.
Like working out with you.
Right. Yeah. There's trainers on like the other end of the spectrum where it's very, I keep saying performative, but it's very performative. Yeah. And I don't think that works. So I feel like the little community, like I'm just cherry picking all the trainers that have the same energy as yours and like are in it for the right reasons. And it's just magic that we create. I can't wait for you to come see it. You're going to fit in.
I'm down. Like all the videos that I see there, I was like, oh, that's so cool.
We're trying to do like more vlogs and stuff. It's really hard to capture like the energy in the gym until you actually show up and feel it because gyms are just so intimidating. And that's like the number one thing that people say to me, either about me or about my business or about the gym, is that they're intimidated. And I try not to laugh because when you show up, you're just gonna feel so silly for feeling that way. Like we're all just a bunch of weirdos.
Well, I feel that way on social media too. Like I'm sure you've had this, like people stop you out in the public and be like, oh, are you Dakotah? And like or people will message you later and be like, oh, I saw you out and about, but I was too nervous to say hi.
Yep, that happens to me
and
all
it's
the
like,
time.
yeah. And it's, I feel like even at the conferences and stuff too, I'd get messages like, oh, I was too afraid to say hi to you and I didn't get a picture with you and I wanted this. And it's like, I've tried so hard to not be intimidating online because it's like, I'm a real ass person. Like I mess up. Like you and I probably have more in common than you think. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know how to break down that intimidating.
I don't either. Yeah. I'm working on it. I don't either.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. And I think too, that's probably hard, or at least now working through the thought process of it is like, I would probably feel that way. Like people who are self-assured in who they are and are confident in what they're doing, like that might be intimidating to people who don't really have direction or don't really know where they're going. But like, I feel like the more you look inward and figure out who you are, the easier it is to just be like, whatever, fuck it.
Also, there's a difference between like you're intimidating and like being intimidated.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like most people who feel like I'm intimidating, and I mean this with love, but it's more about you being intimidated.
Yeah.
And I feel like the beauty industry has really taught me to not be intimidated by people, because we're all just normal ass people with makeup on.
Exactly.
You know, like if I was sitting here, if I just rolled out of bed and came here, that would be less intimidating. I feel like it's literally just like highlighter and like looking like you have your shit together can be really intimidating, but I'm a beauty expert. Like that's what I do for a living. And I want to teach other girls how to do that too, how to like be powerful in their appearance so they can be more confident with themselves and not be intimidated, because now you're intimidating.
Exactly. No, I think that's so powerful. And I think everyone listening can like gain inspiration from that and just know, like, you know, wear the things that make you feel comfortable. Dye your hair purple if that's what makes you feel confident, and do those. I
hate when people say, oh, I wish I could pull that off. Like
you can.
Yeah, just do it.
I had lavender, like super light lavender hair once, cute. And I loved it. The other day I was like, maybe I'll do that again. Or I had pink hair for a while,
You
and I was like,
again. We podcast together and you have purple hair tomorrow. I would be so inspired. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute.
I roll up and I'm like, oh.
Purple is hella trendy right now. I don't know if maybe that's just like my world, but I
did
feel
like
the
super light, really like trendy. Towards the tips.
Yeah,
like what you
that
have,
color,
like
this is hard
really
to keep
pale.
up with. You have to bleach the shit out of your hair all the time.
Yeah.
This has been like the easiest color that I've ever done, actually, so I'm going to keep it.
It looks so good. I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do pink.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It fades a little orange though, right? That's the one that bothered me.
It's like, and then I have like really yellow
I'm
hair.
gonna do just pink here for Valentine's Day, so that I can just go back purple. But all over pink, that is a big commitment, but that would be fire.
Yeah,
you would also be like a really bomb redhead, like red. That would be really cute. I can picture it.
Giving me thoughts here.
I have a good hair person if you need one.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun.
I loved your reel about, I can't remember it was about like just posting things that are not perfect or whatever. And I know we just talked about authenticity, but avoiding like trying to be perfect all the time is like impossible when you're in the beauty industry, because you're always like, oh, but I could sharpen that or make it a little better, like brighten it or like make myself look more whatever, like but there's just always that option. It's kind of hard to stray from it, but I feel like you just need to like force yourself to just like be real. Fuck, be real.
Yeah, literally.
I don't have to be real. No, I don't have that app, but everyone's always asking me. You have it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
My sister
kind of makes me want to have one now.
My sister got me on it, and it's actually really interesting. I think it's just funny because like even this morning, it was before the guys were here. We were all setting up. I was watching the episode that launched today. I had my feed up and I was like, ooh, I should make a fake Be Real and just post it on my Instagram and be like, go watch the video. Literally within that second, the Be Real notification came off for me to post it. And I was like, this is cool. I like that it takes a picture of you and a picture of what you're doing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you have 2 minutes to post once the notification goes off. Or you can post late, but it won't show you what your friends' posts are unless you post.
Oh.
But the whole idea is like to be authentic. Like, what are you doing?
That's a
in
really
the
beautiful trade-off. That we should just go in with the same mindset for Instagram and everything like that. Like, just post yourself before you look at everybody else. Wow. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna take that advice.
No, it's cool. When I think too, like someone asked me about filters and why I liked to use filters, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I feel insecure about my face sometimes, or like if I'm not wearing makeup. And then I was like, why am I using filters? So I stopped using filters completely, and like on stories and reels and whatever, and I was like, I like looking at my face now. And I think it just like sometimes takes you that uncomfortable moment, like. And I think that's the biggest thing to touch on is you're not going to grow in your comfort zone. Like,
right.
You have to step out of your comfort zone, whether that's getting on your stories and talking to your audience, or like, you know, sharing what you're eating for the day, or whatever. Like,
and you can't really teach other people to like love their bare skin if you don't love your own bare skin. And I literally do facials with breakouts. I'll be like, I have pimples today. Or I'll just come to work with like little hearts all over my face because I love pimple patches. And I wish that we had pimple patches when I was in high school, because something about just being like acknowledging that you have a pimple and being like, yeah, I have a pimple and there's a sticker on it. mind your
Yeah.
business.
Whatever.
Like I love that attitude. At one time I actually stayed home because I had such a bad cyst on my face. But it was a cyst.
Yeah.
Okay, it was not a pimple.
Like bad.
But I could have just put a heart on it and just went
Mhm.
on with my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is just be authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
And like put
That just
yourself
sounds so
out.
much easier than
I know, easier
Yeah.
said than done,
yeah,
for sure.
because that's why like I always get so tongue tied when people are like, "How do you be authentic?" And I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like I don't know. Let me ask my therapist how I got here because
Mhm.
it takes years. I don't even
Yeah.
think that I would have been comfortable doing this like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and now I just feel totally different because you
Mhm.
have to do that inner work,
Yeah.
and that's probably why we are the way that we are. Like I don't know
Mhm.
if the listeners have been to therapy, but you should probably go. It's really
Yeah.
scary to face yourself, but that's what's going to make you be a really good business owner is just being like
Mhm.
super confident and comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
Because other people want that, so it's going to
Yeah.
attract other people to you.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to ask for guidance.
Yeah.
Or don't be afraid to hire a coach. Like you
Right.
said earlier, like if there's
Yes.
someone on Instagram that you want to be like, you want your business to be like them, or you want to show up on reels like
Yeah.
they do, or like find anything that you're not good at, I'm guaranteeing you can find someone to throw money at, and they
Right.
can teach you, and they can give you the shortcuts, and they can give you the resources to help you get better, rather than you trying to learn through trial and error on your own and it taking 10 times longer.
Okay, so I was gonna say that originality is like dead now. Like
Mhm.
no one is actually original. That's why TikTok is such a accessible app to like be famous on,
Mhm.
because you can copy other people's trends and make it your
Yeah.
own. So like I feel like people look at other people's content and they're like, wow, like she's so original and creative and like all of these things. And like, yeah, I am original and creative, but
Mhm.
a lot of the things that I'm doing, I've just taken from other people and put my own twist on it.
Uh-huh.
And that's literally all you have to do to like be
Yeah.
creative is like get inspired from other people and make it your own. That's literally what
Yeah.
the new originality standard is, because
Mhm.
what is original now? It's
Yeah.
2022. Like everything is redone. Every
Yeah.
music, you're like, I heard this when I was 12. It's because
Mhm.
there's no more beats to be made.
Exactly.
You just
Elton
gotta-
John is sampling himself right now.
Right.
Because he's not coming up with new
Yeah,
music.
yeah, you literally, yeah. We all should take that advice. I'm just gonna start
Mhm.
sampling myself.
Yeah, exactly. And I said that same exact thing at the conference this last weekend when I was talking about social media. Like, it's okay to gain inspiration from outside sources.
Yeah, as
And,
you
like,
should be.
And even if you're using the same sound and using it in the same exact way, just be like, yo, inspired by so and so. Like,
yeah,
that's okay, because you still have a completely different audience probably
right.
than this other person that
And
you're
you're
trying
not
to reach.
them.
And it's
Like-
still good information. Yeah,
Yeah.
your own spin is going to be on it anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I totally agree.
Is that better?
I think this is a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it.
so excited you
Yeah.
were able to come on.
Yeah, me
Thank you
too.
so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We can find you on Instagram at Dakotah Tyrene.
Yes.
And book all the classes with her.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Come do boot camps with me. I work out
Yeah.
every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday morning at like 8 a.m. With a different trainer every time.
Mhm.
And they're free. So come
Oh
work
my
out.
gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
I want to come.
Yeah, you should. Your
see
first one's
you.
free. Come work out.
Okay, I'm down.
Yay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Don't forget, we have our Black Friday sale going on. Use code Black Friday for 40% off all online courses, coaching, and t-shirts. I'm wearing one of our new designs right now. This one will be up there. And we'll see you guys in the next one.